Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. I hope you guys are surviving quarantine. Things are starting to loosen up a little bit here in Pennsylvania. And today, we're taking a look at the Eco Warrior from Pennsylvania. We've got version 1 of Ozone. Ozone and the rest of the Eco Warriors were released in 1991, 1 year after Captain Planet debuted. You can definitely see the influence of that brand in this toy line, having these environmentally friendly people fighting these toxic sludge bad guys. The coloring of these figures has also definitely been influenced by other popular toy lines like Ninja Turtles of that era, where neon colors were very common. Ozone is one of 3 G.I. Joes in the original line, who hails from the state of Pennsylvania. We had Steeler, Windmill, and Ozone here. Ozone happened to be born on 3 Mile Island. I know there's no hospital there. It's actually the site of a nuclear power plant. It makes sense as a funny tie-in for a Eco Warriors, but just sort of an odd location. We got Pittsburgh with Steeler, Allentown with Windmill, and 3 Mile Island with Ozone. Ozone specializes in cleaning up air pollutants, which is an important part of the Eco Warriors team. He's dressed in a blue jumpsuit with a little bit of yellow and a little bit of green. He looks good with the other Eco Warriors. He's got sort of shaggy hair and a beard sculpted on his face. Sort of a generic looking guy, really. There's nothing super recognizable or iconic about his face, and it's mostly covered by his blue and yellow helmet. This helmet actually got some paint apps as opposed to Flint's helmet that was just all yellow. This one is mostly blue with a little bit of yellow, but it's definitely molded in blue and painted yellow. He's got a blue jumpsuit. It's got some yellow cords and blue pads on it, and then he's got some neon green details like the grenades here on his padded chest. He's got an Eco Warriors badge tampoed on his arm here. It's a little bit hard to see. He's got yellow gloves. His padding goes down over onto his waist. He's got additional padding on his legs as well as a little technical device there. Some yellow on his shins to break up the colors, as well as blue boots. That same general color pattern goes around to the back. He does have these unpainted details on his wrists. I wouldn't say this suit screams Biohazard the way Clean Sweep's suit does, but it probably seems more like an environmental trooper than Flint's costume. The interesting thing is that Ozone was reissued 3 times in Star Brigade. I don't know, does this scream astronaut to you? The helmet's a little spacey, but the rest of the suit doesn't really look like an astronaut suit. I don't know. Maybe they just liked the sculpt, or they just thought the name Ozone sounded like an astronaut. He's got some other technical details here, too, that didn't get painted. So, I don't know. Sort of interesting how that all worked out. Ozone is a standard G.I. Joe figure. He has a ball joint at the head that allows his face to look side to side and up and down a little bit. He's got swivels at the shoulders and a hinge. He's got a swivel at the bicep, a hinge at the elbow. He's got the O-ring in his torso, lets his waist pivot around, and then attached to that is the bracket for his hips. And then he's got 90-degree bends at the knees. I did already mention Ozone's helmet, but additional accessories, he has this neon green sniffer weapon. If I can get that in his hand, it's real tight. But this device has a bunch of technical details on it. This little peg really makes me think it was meant to peg into something, but there's no place to peg it onto him. But there's a lot of little technical doodads on here. This reminds me of like a shotgun mic, like you'd see on a vlogger's camera maybe. But there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. Maybe it's kind of like a Geiger counter or an air quality tool, because it definitely looks like it's a little sniffer. And then he comes with the classic water squirting backpack and cannon. It's exactly the same as Flint's, I believe, only molded in green and yellow this time. So he can take out the bad guys. Alright, Ozone, you think you can take out Cesspool? You got it. Oh, yeah. Connected to the whole theme with the water squirting backpacks, these guys have special paint on them that is supposed to change color in water to reveal battle damage, and I'm going to test it out. I actually have 2 Ozone figures, so we're going to try it out. You can see a little bit of the battle damage on this guy's chest already. We'll see if we can get some of that to show up on camera. Alright, we've got our 2 Ozone figures here with a glass of warm water. We're going to see if we can activate that battle damage. I don't see any change to this figure. This guy had a little bit of battle damage on him to start with, and it seems to be the only battle damage he has now. We're going to try this ice water and see if we can make the battle damage on this Ozone at least disappear. I don't know if it faded at all. We're going to fill Ozone's backpack up with water. We're going to plug his cannon hose into the backpack. Alright, Ozone, can you take out Cesspool? You got it. I already mentioned that Ozone was born in Pennsylvania. Another piece of interesting trivia that comes from his file card is that his file name is David Kunitz, and that's a name of a Hasbro employee. He was part of the G.I. Joe design team. I'm not sure whether the figure bears his resemblance or just his name. Overall, Ozone's just kind of an okay figure to me. I didn't have him as a kid, so I have no nostalgic connection to him. I don't think his uniform is anything extra special. He shares most of his equipment with other figures, and then he got reused, overly reused for a line he's not really suited for. What do they need a clean air expert in space for? So he's just kind of an okay figure. There's nothing wrong with him. They did a great job as far as sculpts. His paint schemes are interesting if you like the bright 90s kind of colors. Kind of odd for military, but, you know, okay, it's chemical warfare kind of thing. I can dig it. But yeah, he's definitely not one of my die-hard favorite guys. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Stay safe during this pandemic, and make sure to like and subscribe.